Like a lot of people, I've had plenty of curiosity about the Switch since its reveal, and Nintendo have now had their official presentation, giving a lot of details for it. So let's go through what we learned during that presentation, and my thoughts from it. And for the sake of simplicity, let's keep it structured as it came up during the presentation. Well, firstly, we got some details about the launch of the system. It's going to have a global release date of the 3rd of March, and a UK price of £280, which in my personal opinion is a bit much with no games. My estimate was about £250 for it. One thing they detailed for it was the online services, and unfortunately it's not good news. They've said they're going to use a paid online service similar to Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus, but given Nintendo's online reputation, that doesn't seem like a good move. Especially given there is conspicuous absence of any mentions like free monthly games which PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live both provide. They did say there'd be more details about it coming later, but free games seems like something you'd shout about. They also mentioned the online services can be managed via a smart device app, and maybe it's just my paranoia talking, but that makes me wonder if the Switch is capable of handling the online services while running the games. I'm sure that's just me overthinking it and it can handle it fine, but it is a worry given they didn't mention anything about the system handling the online. But they have said that the online will have a free trial period, which does give them the chance to impress people and turn opinion around. And given that they're coming into this generation later with the already established PS4 and Xbox One, where people will already be subscribed to an online services, this seems like it's a very necessary option to win people around. They also mentioned it'll be no region locking for games, which is nice, but I wish this was a feature that was standard across all consoles, rather than something that needs to be highlighted. They then brought up the battery life, which has been a worry for a lot of people, and frankly, given the details they shared, I'm still pretty worried about it. They said that the battery life will vary by game, between estimates of 2.5 hours to 6.5, which realistically to my mind means any big non-indie games will probably be about 2.5 hours, and given games tend to push hardware more in later years, that is a worrying starting number. Also the fact that playing while charging is a feature they bring up, that kind of reinforces this idea to me of a poor battery life. They then talked about their controllers, the Joy-Cons, where you've got the standard grip and then the two smaller ones that plug into the side of it. And to my eyes, even with the grip, the controller looked a bit small to me, and I can't imagine that's using just one of those Joy-Cons comfortably. They include wrist straps which look like they make them a bit more comfortable to grip, but this does kind of go against the speed of transition of using the different kinds of controllers. And unsurprisingly, they will have plenty of motion control abilities, as Nintendo will never stop beating that particular horse. And from now on, it's all about their games. Firstly, they showed off 1-2 Switch, which comes across the game yet really should have been bundled with the console, as they did with Wii Sports and Nintendo Land, as it comes across as a tech demo style game to show off the gimmicks of the controller, and that's not something I can see selling much on its own. Next they showed off ARMS, a new motion controlled fighting boxing game with a cartoony visual style where your characters have springs for arms. It looks like it could be fun, but I question if there'll be enough variety to justify a full price game, especially as the multiplayer seems to need an extra pair of Joy-Cons. Next they showed off a new Splatoon, and the big thing as a Wii U owner is it is a new Splatoon, not just a re-release, and given Splatoon was one of the best games on the Wii U, getting a new one is pretty exciting. The big disappointment was that it said it was a summer release rather than a launch one, which comes across as a big misstep, as it should be used to show off the online service in its early days to convince people of its quality. Then we had a new Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey, which seems to do something different, taking a more open design and new interesting universe, including a New York cityscape and an alien planet. And given one of my big problems with Mario on the Wii U was that it wasn't anything new, it's good it is showing off a new idea for Mario so early. But again, this is another title that's not available at launch. It's got a vague release date of holiday 2017, and that means it's yet another title that is promised sometime later rather than at launch. And then we had a rather interesting announcement in the form of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now I didn't really get into X, but I did enjoy the first one, and given the title is 2, it implies it's more akin to that, so this is one to keep an eye on. Next up was Fire Emblem Warriors. Now I've been expecting another Nintendo Warriors game for a while after the success of Hyrule Warriors. Personally I was expecting Metroid, but Fire Emblem seems like quite an appropriate fit for the series. Then from Square there was plenty of Dragon Quest with 10, 11 and a Heroes bundle of Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, again another Warriors style game, being announced. Then came the big surprise in the form of an announcement of a new Shin Megami Tensei game. That's something that has a niche appeal, but personally that's very interesting. Though it was only a teaser trailer, so it's probably a long way off before it actually releases. Then Square showed off a new 2D style traditional JRPG called Octopath Traveler. And with all of these announcements, it appears the Switch is being marketed as a console for Japanese RPG fans, which as one is a big plus for me. Then Sega came on to announce some games at some point maybe. Then Bethesda came on to officially confirm Skyrim, which came as no surprise to anyone. But as a genuine surprise, Suda51 came on to announce a new game starring Travis Touchdown. So I presume a new No More Heroes, but it's hard to tell at this point as there wasn't a lot of info, and frankly the translator really struggled in this part. Then the excitement came back down as EA came on to announce Nintendo gets the new FIFA. If only they could have got the actual announcement done that fast without all the waffle. Following this we got a compilation trailer showing multiple other ports, including, surprisingly for me, Disgaea 5, which to me shows a wider third-party developer support, and if the Vita is anything to go by, it's likely Nissa will be long-term support, unlike say EA or Ubisoft have been in the past with previous Nintendo consoles. They then closed off the presentation with a really good trailer for Breath of the Wild, and thankfully they confirmed that it's actually a launch title for the system. So at least they've got Zelda for a killer app launch title. And while in the presentation it was only shown in the compilation trailer, a separate trailer was released for Mario Kart, which officially confirmed that it's an enhanced port of 8, including the proper battle mode and new characters like the Splatoon characters. And while I would prefer a new game, already owning 8 on the Wii U, I understand that they want to get it out at launch as a big online multiplayer title to prove the quality of the online service. Except according to the video description, it isn't out till the end of April. Because Nintendo don't seem to understand that you need to convince people early on that the online is good, so that word of mouth spreads while the console is the hot topic of conversation, because at the minute they have a poor reputation for online. So that's the details of the Switch presentation, and while there was some stuff that made me interested in the console in the long term, I don't think there was enough shown to make me get it straight away at launch, especially after being burned on the Wii U.